Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss the subunit that is the living world of class 11 bio NCERT. So be calm and watch it. So the first unit that is the diversity in the living world. We have the subunits, the living world. We have the biological classification. We have the plant kingdom, and we have the animal kingdom. Here we go. The portion that is the biography portion of the writers or the scientist is not so important. So you have to only remember about the triple crown of biology, and that is the Balzan Prize, the International Prize for Biology, and the Cafford Prize. These three prizes are known as the Balzan triple crown of the biology. These were given to the Ernest Mayr, so you can remember these. And here we start the living world unit. I will show you the highlighted points that are the important points regarding the NEET 2021. So what are these points? First point is that all living organisms grow. Increase in mass and increase in number of individuals are twin characteristic of growth. A multicellular organism grows by cell division. These statements can be asked in a manner that which among the following statements are correct or which among the following statements are true. So these statements are important in these types of questions. Next point is that we have the unicellular organisms grow by cell division, and another is growth and reproduction are mutually exclusive event. Increase in body mass is considered as growth. Now a question can be asked in NEET regarding the matching of the way of reproduction in the organisms. Like in case of the fungi multiply and spread through asexual pores, suppose. And in case of yeast and hydra, there is process known as budding takes place. And in case of planaria, that is flakeworms, there occurs two regeneration. That is, a fragmented organism regenerates the lost part of its body and becomes a new organism. And we have the fungi, filamentous algae, the protonema of mosses. These are all multiply by fragmentation. So in case of bacteria, unicellular algae or amoeba, reproduction is synonymous with growth. So the next point is that reproduction also cannot be an inclusive defining characteristic of living organisms. Okay, but why? We have some organisms, like we have the mule, we have this sterile worker bees, and infertile human couples. They are not able to reproduce. Okay, so reproduction is not an inclusive defining characteristic of a living organism. Another characteristic that we will discuss is the metabolism. In this paragraph, you should remember that the sum total of all chemical reactions occurring in our body is metabolism, and hence cellular organization of body is a defining feature of life forms. So metabolism is also an inclusive characteristic, that is defining characteristic of a living organism. Next feature of a living organism is consciousness. That we human beings, as well as the plants, like we have the photoperiod effects, the reproduction in seasonal breeders, both in plants and animals. This is an important, and humans also show consciousness. The next important statement is that we have the living organisms. Living organisms, what is the definition of the living organism? Living organisms are self-replicating, evolving and self-regulating interactive systems capable of responding to external stimuli. This is the definition of living organism. So, and you can also try to remember about the definition of biology, and although it is not very important, but you should remember that biology is the story of life on earth, and biology is the story of evolution of living organisms on earth. Now we have another important statement, that is the number of species that are described till now. It is between 1.7 to 1.8 million. And what do you mean by the biodiversity? That is the number and types of organisms present on earth. Another term that you will face in this chapter is that the nomenclature. What is the nomenclature? That is the standardizing the name of living organism. That is known as nomenclature. We will discuss about the nomenclature, that is binomial nomenclature, here in this chapter. So what in case of for nomenclature, what is must? The term identification. Identification means that the organisms are firstly described. That is that there is correct description of organisms, then their names are set. So here we have two abbreviations. We have the ICBN and ICZN. ICBN stands for the International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, and we have the ICZN. It stands for International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. You should remember these abbreviations. So now we will discuss about the binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature was given by Carolus Linnaeus. Okay, he was a scientist. Carolus Linnaeus. He gives the binomial nomenclature. We have in binomial nomenclature we have two parts. That is the generic part and the specific part. Okay, so generic part and specific part we will discuss in this the example of mango, that is Mangifera indica, that is a biological name, or more appropriately we can say it a binomial nomenclature. Here we have the Mangifera indica. Mangifera indica In this word, the Mangifera refers to the genus, whereas the Indica refers to a particular species or specific epithet. Now, what are the rules of nomenclature? Nomenclature के लिए rules क्या हैं? So, first rule is biological names are generally in Latin and written in italics. They are Latinized or derived from Latin, irrespective of their origin. I am mentioning here that these 4 points are very important for the NEET examination. So, remember these 4 points. Second point is that the first word in a biological name represents the genus, while the second component denotes a specific epithet. Third point is both the words in a biological name, when handwritten, are separately underlined. These are separately underlined when we write on a notebook when it is handwritten. If we print it on a computer or a laptop, we will we will modify it in a italic posture. Okay, so it is written here that are printed in italics to indicate their Latin origin. Why the Latin language is chosen for for naming the living organism? Because Latin language is a dead language. There can no further modifications in this language. So Latin language is chosen for the biological names. Fourth point is that the first word denoting the genus starts with a capital letter, while the specific epithet starts with a small letter. Hence, we have the Mangifera indica. In Mangifera indica, the Mangifera, that is a part of the genus part. There is a genus part. The word starts with a capital letter. Here, M is a capital. And in case of indica, we have I. It is small. And if written handwritten, it is underlined, and if it is printed, it is written as in a italic posture. It is also an important point. You should remember that whenever a scientist describes a word or give a word for a particular living organism that he had discovered, his name is his popular part. That is, his name's popular part is written in front of the name given to that living organism. Like in case of Mangifera indica, discovered by the Linnaeus, we write Mangifera indica Linn. Okay. Now we have the definition of classification. Classification is the process by which anything is grouped into convenient categories based on some easily observable characters. This is the definition of classification. So write in the comment sections about what do you think, what are the Alsatians. Write in the comment section. We will discuss next, that is the taxonomy. Taxonomy means that we are describing the living organisms in specific categories. We are describing living organisms in a classified way. So in case of taxonomy, what forms the basis of the taxonomy? These are the external and internal structure, along with the structure of cell, development process, and ecological information of organisms are essential and form the basis of modern taxonomic studies. So you should remember the 4 terms that forms the basis of that are basic to the taxonomy. These are the characterization, identification, classification, and nomenclature. These 4 terms are these 4 processes are the basic to taxonomy. Now another term that you will face in this chapter is systematics. Systematics is basically a word that is derived from the Latin language, meaning Latin word, that is the systema. Systema means the systematic arrangements of organisms. So Linnaeus used Systema Naturae as a title of his publication. Okay, he used Systema Naturae as a title of his publication. The scope of systematic or later allowed to include systematics include the identification, nomenclature, and classification. Also the phylogenetic relationships, that is evolutionary relationships between organisms. Now we will discuss about the taxonomic categories and taxonomic hierarchy. Taxonomic hierarchy is basically representing the species, representing the living organisms in a classified way. Okay, and here each category referred to as a unit of classification and represents a rank that is commonly termed as taxon. Now we will discuss about what are the species. Species, the definition is given by the Ernest Mayr in 1964, says that species is a group of actually or potentially interbreeding populations that are reproductively isolated from the other such groups. Okay, this is the definition of species given by the Ernest Mayr in 1964. We have different words. We have the Mangifera, Solanum, and Panthera. These are the generic names, generic words, and we have Nigrum and Melongena. These are the specific epithet or species word. Now we will discuss about the genus. Genus comprises a group of related species which has more characters in common in comparison to species of other genera. In case of family is basically here it is an important point that families are characterized on the basis of both vegetative and reproductive features of plant species. Solanum, Petunia, and Datura are placed in the family Solanaceae. These 2 points are important in this paragraph. So we will further move in what is order. Order is basically the assemblage of families which exhibit a few similar characters. You can be asked in NEET or in questions like which of the following statements are true or which of the following statement is not true. So in that cases the statement can be given like the Convolvulaceae, Solanaceae are included in the order Polymoniales, that is mainly based on the plural characters. This point is also an important point in this paragraph. So class, you know about this category includes the related orders. Okay, phylum, Phylum, in case of phylum, this you have also learned about these like T. Okay. Now kingdom. Kingdom is the highest step or rank in a taxonomic category. So here we will learn about this figure. You can memorize it by the mnemonics. Keep pot clean, otherwise your family get sick. Okay. Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. This is the way how you can remember the hierarchy, taxonomic hierarchy. Okay. An important point here is, as we go higher from species to kingdom, the number of common characteristics goes on decreasing. Okay, this is an important. And lower the taxa, more the characters that members within the taxon share. This is an important point. Higher the category, greater is the difficulty of determining the relationship with the taxa at the same level. This is also an important point. Now this table is also important. You should go through this table. Okay, questions can be asked from this table also. Now we will discuss about the taxonomic aids. What are the taxonomic aids? We have herbarium, we have botanical gardens, museums, zoological parks. Okay, so taxonomic aids in this paragraph we have nearly an important, not so important, but you should remember the collection of actual specimens of plant and animal species is essential and is the prime source of taxonomic studies. In case of herbarium, the herbarium paragraph is wholly important. So herbarium is a storehouse of collected plant specimens that are dried, present, preserved on sheets. Further, these sheets are arranged according to a universally accepted system of classification. Another point that is the herbarium is used as a storehouse or repository for future use. Herbarium sheets. Now you should remember about the length, about the dimensions of the herbarium sheet. What are the dimensions? Herbarium sheet size is 41 into 29 centimeter square. So this should be the size of the herbarium sheet. What is on the herbarium sheets? There is a label that provides information about date and place of collection, English, local and botanical names, family, collector's name. Herbaria also serves as a quick reference system in taxonomic studies. You should be asked, a question can be asked in a way like match the following terms. In that the herbaria, this is an important statement, that is the herbaria also serves as a quick reference systems in taxonomical studies. Now in case of botanical gardens, we have to remember the famous botanical gardens. Botanical gardens are at Kew, England, Indian Botanical Garden, Aura, India, and at National Botanical Research Institute that is present in the Lucknow, that is India. So also you should remember that botanical gardens are the examples of ex situ conservation. That is we are growing the plants for reference from in a place that are not their native. Okay, this is an example of ex situ conservation. The museum paragraph, it all comprises of important facts, like we have the museums have collections of preserved plant and animal specimens for study and reference. Specimens are preserved in containers or jars in preservative solutions. Plant and animal specimens may also be preserved as dry specimens. Insects are preserved in insect boxes after collecting, killing and thinning. Larger animals like birds and mammals are usually stuffed and preserved. Museums often have collections of skeletons of animals too. This all paragraph is an important paragraph. Okay, now zoological parks, you know that zoological parks are basically the example of the ex situ conservation, and these are basically the captive breeding. This is basically the captive breeding of endangered animals. Okay, zoological parks. So here is a task for you, that this picture shows the different zoological parks or biological parks in India. Here the rhinoceros, these are found in the national park, that is Kaziranga National Park, that is in Assam. We have the swan, these are basically found in the Kionaldo National Park. And we have the tigers, that is found in the Jim Corbett National Park. Yeah, and a task for you, you should mention a national park in India where the elephants are preserved. Okay, sorry, preserved. There is a captive breeding of elephants. Okay. Now the key paragraph, this all is important. Key is another taxonomic aid used for identification of plants and animals based on the similarities and dissimilarities. The keys are based on the contrasting characters, generally in a pair called couplet. It represents the choice made between two opposite options. This results in acceptance of only one and rejection of the other. Each statement in the key is called a lead. Separate taxonomic keys are required for each taxonomic category, such as family, genus and species. For identification purposes, keys are generally analytical in nature. So finally we have the last paragraph of this subunit. In this paragraph, it is an important paragraph regarding the questions that are asked, like match the following. So in this case, we have the flora, manuals, monographs and catalogs. These are the four terms that are described here. Only three of these three are described here. Catalogs are not described, but if you know the three terms, you can correlate the fourth one easily. Okay, flora, manuals, monographs and catalogs are some other means of recording descriptions. They also help in correct identification. Flora contains the actual account of habitat and distribution of plants of a given area. These provide the index to the plant species found in a particular area. Now, what are the manuals? Manuals are useful in providing information for identification of names of species found in an area, and monographs contain information on any one taxon. Here we have the catalog. The definition of catalog is basically a list that enumerates methodically all the species found in an area with brief description aiding identification. This is the definition of catalog. Okay, so, and it is important here to keep in mind that never ever miss the summary portion of any of the chapter of NCRT. Okay, never ever miss this summary portion. So in summary portion we have the important points like it requires special techniques for collection preservation of specimens in herbaria and museums. Live specimens, on the other hand, of the plants and animals are found in botanical gardens or in zoological parks. Taxonomic keys are tools that help in identification based on characteristics. This was all about the first subunit of the living world of the class 11 NCRT. Hope you enjoyed. These were some of the important points that are frequently asked in NEET. So please like, share, and subscribe my YouTube channel to show a support for me. Okay, thank you all.